Greetings, friends. My name is Gabriel, and welcome to Stories of Cat Catastrophes, the video series where I scour the internet, my own personal experiences, to bring you tales of feline folly, and then illustrate them for your listening and viewing pleasure. All of this is in an effort to promote my upcoming kids' picture book, Sometimes Kitties, a book of cat facts written to delight the young and never get old. If you're interested in the print edition of this book, I'll be kickstarting it very shortly, and the only way to know when it kickstarts is to join my mailing list, so please scroll down and do that below. Our first story is from Carl. Carl writes, I bought a new mirror once. It was maybe 2 feet by 6 feet. I rested it against my bedroom wall for a night so that I could acquire the necessary tools to mount it the next day. The next morning, my cat came to investigate, touched it, and realized it was flexible. He started running up to it and bouncing off it. I tried to stop him from doing that by closing him out of the bedroom. I went and took a shower, and on my way back, he ran past me as I was walking through the bedroom door, made a beeline for the mirror. He flew right through it, broke it into a million pieces, and ran out the way he came in. Now I have a beautiful frame with no mirror in it. His work being done, he then went to take a nap on the keyboard of my laptop. Our next story is from Jared. Jared writes, in college, my immature self and my immature roommate walked past while our cat Boss was using the litter box. My roommate pointed and said, "Ha ha, you're pooping." I cannot justify my roommate's actions. So maybe 3 hours later, my roommate went to get ready for work and was about to put his shoes on. It was then he noticed that Boss had decided to use his shoes instead of the litter box. I laughed my tail off, but this was between Boss and our roommate, and the roommate never teased Boss again. Our next story comes from Gary, who writes, my cat is named Jax. When he was a kitten, he liked to chew on cords and cables. I went through 3 cell phone charging cables in 1 month. I brought all kinds of substitute items in the house for him to chew on and used positive reinforcement when he chews the substitutes, praise and pets, and then negative reinforcement when he chewed on cords. No, bad kitty. As I am reading, he jumps up onto my computer desk and pulls a phone charger to the floor. He opens his mouth and eases towards the cable for a chew. In a stern voice, I say, Jax, no. He never took his eyes off of mine and went in for the big chew. I chased him off. He finally figured it out, but that last attempt was just the worst, and he knew it. The next story comes from Keith. At one time in our lives, my wife and I adopted 2 kittens from the same litter. We lived in a 4-room apartment, and when the male, Tiger, lots of tigers in cat world, when the male Tiger started misbehaving, we put him in the bathroom whenever we went out. The door was so sticky that one had to give it a good thump with the shoulder to open it. Yet, when we arrived home, the door was always open, and Tiger was always up to his old mischief. One day, we put Tiger in the bathroom and left him in there to see what would happen. It wasn't long before the most amazing thing unfolded. There was a plaintive meow from the bathroom. Tiger's sister, Panther. Anyone else detecting the theme? Yeah. Tiger's sister, Panther, went into the spare room opposite and stood against the far wall. Then she went charging across the floor toward the bathroom and gave a loud squeal just before she hit the door with her side. The door handle went down, Panther hit the door, and it opened, and out walked Tiger. We fathomed that he would stand on the rim of the bath, and when he heard Panther's call, he'd leap up and hang onto the handle just as she collided with the door, thus allowing the force of her charge to open it. How they worked this plan out between them is beyond me, but if that is not the most astonishing display of communication, intelligence, and sibling love, I don't know what is. I mean, that's one of those situations where you can't get mad. It's like, I mean, you adapted and overcame, and you did it with love and teamwork. I'd be proud. Just saying. Our next story is from Celeste. Celeste writes, I used to have a beautiful calico named Maisie, and she tried to kill me in my sleep, but only ended up giving me a concussion. A cat-cussion, if you will. Cat people and our cat puns. We can't help ourselves. Can't help ourselves. I had previously had a fish. And although the fish was gone, I still had fish food. I kept it in a decorative galvanized metal bucket on top of the bookshelf that is near my headboard. Why? At 2 a.m., my darling Maisie got the idea to steal the fish food. Fish food is made of fish because fish are cannibals. So she tried wedging herself between the wall and the bucket. You see where this is going. It's so predictable. The bucket landed on my head, waking me and causing a small skull fracture. I know the precise time because I was wearing my activity heart rate tracker and could see the exact time my heart rate skyrocketed. Oh, no. Oh, this poor thing. Oh, bless her heart. Oh, my. Because I am a teacher, I couldn't avoid lights, reading, or technology, so it took forever to get over that concussion. Soon after, I gave Maisie to a lovely young lady. Both cat and owner are doing well and are happy together. Gracious. Alright, this last story is the one that I've been illustrating the whole time. I hope that it's been worth the wait, and this one is by Elise. Elise writes, I hated cats. Last summer, my wife and I started feeding a stray cat who had been dumped by his previous owner. I had always hated cats, but little by little he started softening my heart to the point where we contemplated bringing him in. Oh man, Elise is halfway telling my story, man. I was not a cat person. Still not, but I mean, I'm not Satan, so. He was the most handsome cat I had ever seen. He had a black outline around his eyes, and we always joked that he had eyeliner on. I freaking loved this cat. Who would have ever thought? By fall, we had been bringing him in for a few hours out of the day. My goal was to bring him in permanently on Christmas morning. It gets sad for a second here, folks. One fateful October day, he was hit by a car and died instantly. I was devastated and cried for weeks. I vowed to never love again. R.I.P. Dobby. Hold on now, there's more. Fast forward to mid-December. My wife announced that she wanted to get me a kitten for Christmas. I wasn't sure if I could love another cat, but I got excited in spite of myself. I naturally went to the local shelter to begin my search. I asked the attendant if I could just sit on the floor and open a few cages. She obliged. By the third set of cages that had been opened, none of the cats piqued my interest. We had 4 more cages to go. She opened the last set, and one small cat walked over to me and immediately climbed in my lap. He nuzzled my chin, curled up, and fell asleep. I found the one. I paid the adoption fee, and the shelter loaded me up with all kinds of goodies. I named him Remus. If you haven't figured it out, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. When we finally got home that evening, we worked on getting Remus introduced to our 2 dogs. The 3 of them hit it off very well. Remus was rambunctious and a night owl. It took some getting used to. We noticed shortly after bringing him home that he loved shredding toilet paper. Ugh. The stuff is not cheap. This story's from 2020, so if you know, you know. The stuff is not cheap, so we decided from now on we will keep the bathroom door closed even if we're not in there. This habit took some getting used to since we never had to do it before. For months, Remus would catch us slipping and destroy yet another roll of toilet paper. This one particular evening, I walked into the hallway and realized I left the bathroom door open again. I flicked on the light and yelled out, "Remus!" And then I saw him, surrounded by a shredded roll of TP, shredded into confetti. And there he was, completely unbothered, and looked slightly annoyed that I interrupted him. Toilet paper 0, Remus 1. Since writing this, he has struck again. And that's the last story for today's edition of Stories of Cat Catastrophes. If you enjoyed this, I'm so very glad, and stick around because there's another one coming up. And if you enjoy my illustrations, please, oh please, consider joining my mailing list and kickstarting my upcoming picture book, Sometimes Kitties. If you want the original art from today's episode, it'll be available on my website at coffeeandhate.biz. In the meantime, thank you so much. Give your furry feline some extra scritches for me, and take care.